Have you ever felt like you're watching your life from the outside? Like you're there but not really feeling anything? You smile when you're supposed to, say "I'm fine" even when you're not. But deep down there's a quiet emptiness, a kind of emotional flatline. And maybe you've asked yourself, why do I feel so disconnected from who I am? Here's a truth most of us were never told. What feels like emotional emptiness in adulthood often began as emotional survival in childhood. And that's what this video is about. Imagine a child who cries, hoping someone will come, but no one does. Or worse, someone comes and shames them for crying. Over time, that child learns. Feelings aren't safe, so they start to shut them off. This is emotional numbness, a defense mechanism your brain builds when it learns that feeling too much can be dangerous. At the time, it was smart. It protected you. But now, years later, it's still running the show, and it's exhausting. You might recognize it in small, subtle ways. You struggle to name what you're feeling. You rarely cry, even when things are painful. You feel fine all the time, but never really alive. It can feel like your emotions are behind a glass wall. You know they're there, but you can't reach them. And here's the heartbreaking part. Many adults living like this don't even realize it's trauma. They think they're just low energy, or not that emotional. But really, they've learned to go numb as a way to stay safe. In psychology, this is known as emotional suppression, and it has real effects on your brain and body. A 2013 study published in Psychological Science showed that people who habitually suppress emotions are more likely to experience chronic stress, lower relationship satisfaction, and even weakened immune function. Why? Because suppressing pain doesn't make it disappear. It just makes it quieter, until it starts to show up as fatigue, detachment, or depression. But here's the good news. Numbness isn't who you are. It's what you had to become to survive. And healing starts with one simple step: noticing the numbness without judging it. You might begin by asking, what am I not allowing myself to feel? When did I first learn that emotions were unsafe? What would it look like to feel just 1% more today? You don't have to tear down the walls all at once. You just have to knock gently. Every time you allow a feeling, even the smallest one, you're telling your nervous system, it's safe now. You're not alone anymore. Do you find it hard to ask for help? Do you feel uncomfortable relying on others, even the ones closest to you? Maybe you take pride in doing everything yourself. Maybe you've been told, you're so strong, you don't need anyone. But here's the truth most people miss. Hyper-independence isn't always strength. Sometimes it's trauma in a superhero costume. Many adults who experienced emotional neglect, betrayal, or unpredictability in childhood learned early. People can't be trusted. Love comes with strings. Vulnerability gets you hurt. So they build a fortress around themselves. A life where needing no one feels safer than risking disappointment. At first glance, it looks like resilience. But beneath it is often a deep fear. If I let someone in, they might leave. Or worse, they might see how broken I feel inside. This isn't weakness, it's protection. A brilliant, unconscious adaptation to early emotional pain. Psychologist Dr. Nicole LaPera explains this as a form of trauma response, specifically the avoidant protector pattern. It's when the nervous system equates closeness with danger and independence with safety. You might notice, you hate asking for favors, even small ones. You feel weak if you depend on someone emotionally. You end relationships before they get too close, or choose people who stay emotionally distant. Ironically, you might even feel lonely, but still avoid intimacy. Because for the hyper-independent adult, loneliness feels safer than abandonment. But let's reframe that. What if this self-sufficiency was never about being strong, but about being scared? What if it's not about pride, but protection? That realization alone can be a turning point. The goal isn't to give up your independence, it's to soften it, to create space for interdependence, the healthy middle ground where connection and autonomy can coexist. Healing starts when you let someone support you, even a little. Share something real without apologizing for it. Remind yourself, it's okay to need. It's okay to lean. Because needing others doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. And humans heal in connection, not isolation. Ever find yourself saying yes when every part of you wants to say no? Do you apologize too often, even when you've done nothing wrong? Do you feel anxious when someone's even slightly upset with you? This might not just be politeness or kindness. It might be people-pleasing, and underneath it, a hidden wound from childhood. Here's how it begins. When you grow up in an environment where love feels conditional, where approval is given only when you're good, quiet, or useful, your nervous system learns that being liked equals being safe. So you become hyper-aware of others' moods. You anticipate needs. You avoid conflict like it's fire. You smile, even when you're breaking inside. Because somewhere deep down, there's a belief. If I keep everyone happy, maybe I'll finally feel safe. This is what psychologists call fawning, a trauma response that prioritizes others' needs over your own in order to avoid danger or rejection. And the cost? You lose touch with your own voice, your own desires, your own truth. You might notice you often feel drained in social settings but don't know why. You overthink texts, worried about how they'll be received. You avoid saying what you really feel, just in case it causes discomfort. And yet, the more you abandon yourself to please others, the more disconnected you feel from your own life. It's like being a guest in your own body, always performing, never resting. A 2015 study from the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that chronic people-pleasers are more likely to experience anxiety, burnout, and even depression, not because they don't care, but because they care too much at the expense of themselves. But here's what no one tells you. Boundaries are not rejection. They are protection. You can love people deeply and still say no. You can be kind without betraying your own needs. You can disagree and still be worthy of connection. Healing this pattern starts with small, powerful shifts. Pause before you say yes. Ask, do I actually want this? Practice disappointing others gently. It's okay. Remind yourself, I am not responsible for how others feel, only for being true to myself. Because real peace doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from living in alignment. You wake up already on edge. Your mind races through everything that could go wrong before you even touch the floor. Your heart beats fast, your shoulders are tight, and you don't even know why. Sound familiar? This isn't just overthinking. It's your nervous system stuck in survival mode, often rooted in childhood trauma. When you grow up in a home filled with yelling, criticism, chaos, or emotional unpredictability, your body learns the world isn't safe, and neither are people. So your nervous system adapts. It stays on high alert, scanning constantly for danger, even when nothing's wrong. This state is called hypervigilance. It's like your brain never turns off its internal alarm. You might experience it as trouble relaxing, even when everything is fine, constant worry that something bad is about to happen, overreacting to small noises, looks, or shifts in tone. And here's the thing, this isn't in your head, it's in your body. According to trauma expert Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, trauma lives not just in memory, but in the nervous system. The body literally remembers what the mind tries to forget. This is why traditional advice like just calm down or stop worrying doesn't work. Because when your nervous system has never felt safe, calm doesn't feel normal. It feels foreign, even dangerous. But healing is possible through nervous system regulation. This might look like grounding exercises, feeling your feet, touching a surface, breathing slowly. Somatic therapy, gentle body-based practices to release stored trauma. Rebuilding safety through routine, gentle relationships, and emotional validation. Even small acts, like holding a warm mug, humming softly, or placing a hand on your chest, send signals to your brain. You're safe now. You're here. You've survived. You don't have to fight your anxiety. You have to listen to what it's trying to say. I needed safety. I still do. And the more you honor that, the less your body will need to scream it. You finally get a good opportunity, and then you procrastinate. You meet someone kind and push them away. You start to feel better, and somehow you ruin it. And maybe part of you wonders, why do I keep doing this to myself? This pattern is called self-sabotage. But let's be clear. It's not because you're lazy, broken, or unmotivated. It's because somewhere deep down you've been taught, I don't deserve good things. For many, this belief starts in childhood, when love was inconsistent, when success was never enough, when mistakes were punished more than growth was celebrated. Over time, the message sinks in. If I try too hard, I'll be hurt. If I shine too bright, I'll be rejected. If I fail, they'll finally confirm what I've feared all along, that I'm not enough. So instead of risking that pain again, your mind does something clever. It protects you by keeping you small. You might notice, you set goals but never follow through. You start relationships but expect them to end. You stay in jobs, habits, or roles that feel safe but unfulfilling, because even misery can feel more familiar than success. At least you know how to survive it. A 2002 study published in Self and Identity introduced the term self-verification theory, the idea that people unconsciously seek to confirm their existing self-beliefs, even when those beliefs are negative. In other words, if deep down you believe you're unworthy, you'll act in ways that prove it true. But here's the truth that trauma tried to hide from you. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not the voice that tells you to stay small. Healing begins with two powerful shifts. Recognize the pattern without blaming yourself for it. Self-sabotage is not failure. It's fear trying to keep you safe. Act differently, even when it feels uncomfortable. Say yes to that good thing. Let yourself succeed, even a little. Practice receiving without apology. Because the more you allow yourself to taste joy, love, and freedom, the more your brain learns. It's safe to grow. It's safe to be seen. It's safe to want more. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You just have to be willing to believe that worthiness is possible. And it is. If you saw yourself in any of these signs, the numbness, the anxiety, the overgiving, the isolation, the self-sabotage, please know this. You're not broken. You're adapting. Everything you've done was your nervous system's way of saying, I want to survive. And you did. You made it here. But surviving isn't the same as living. And now, maybe for the first time, you're ready for more. Here's what's true. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to need.
You are allowed to grow beyond the limits that trauma taught you. Healing isn't linear. It's not always pretty. But it's always possible when you meet yourself with compassion instead of shame. So let me ask you, which of these patterns do you see in yourself? And what's one small way you can begin to rewrite that story today? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. And tell me, where are you watching from? I'd love to know. If this spoke to you, you're not alone.
And if you want to go deeper, check out our next video. You're not lazy. This is what burnout really feels like. You've survived long enough. Now it's time to heal.